Hello, everybody. Welcome back to the Collegiate Call of Duty playoffs here in day number 2. We're going away from the losers bracket to get up to the winners bracket. We're dealing with a battle of the Bayou. We've got Louisiana Tech going up against Louisiana Lafayette. Brody, the last time these two teams played, it was earlier on in the season. So this will be kind of a fresh look as far as what these guys have to offer here in this very pivotal matchup in winners round 2.
Yeah, I mean, I remember actually casting. I might have been this match, to be fair, I casted. My memory is very cloudy as a person in general. Like, I think I have the most short-term memory ever. I might be a goldfish. That being said, yeah, I do remember casting Louisiana Lafayette in the season, and they were a very, very good squad. I will call them the Raging Cajuns because the Louisiana Lafayette is a bit of a mouthful for myself. But still, yeah, I remember casting these guys. They were pretty good. We'll take a look at the rosters, though, between these two sides. And LA Tech and Louisiana Lafayette, and we'll see what kind of rosters they've got. And on LA Tech side, we have Will, Rhett, Drops, Whole Troll, which is a cool name, and Sir Galahad, which I believe, I'm pretty sure that's a reference of some kind to the Knights of the Round Table. I'm pretty sure it is. And on the other side of things, we have a ULL Raging Cajun side of Money, Astro, Zots, Bandit, and Pateson. I like him. I like the roster. Bandit, to me, I think is the name that stands out on this roster as I remember it anyway. Again, my memory's pretty cloudy, but as I remember it, Bandit was the best player on the roster at the time.
And beyond that, again, for Louisiana Tech, you just look at the rosters as a whole. Remember the fact that Torres and Guantanamo Bacon had to take the last quarter off, so they had to actually find Rhett and Galahad to join in late for Louisiana Tech. But again, both are good players. We saw that yesterday when they played Maryland. If we have a chance to take a look at Louisiana Tech more specifically here as far as how they fared in the regular season, not bad. Not bad at all considering they're in the Southeast. 17-5 in their hard point. Very, very solid all the way through that. 14-4 and what they were able to do in the search and destroy. Domination was a 15-2. But for Louisiana Tech in specific, again, what they've been able to do in the playoffs has been great, or versus playoff teams, I should rather say. Their best mode by far has been the domination, and they smoked Maryland there yesterday. But the big kind of consistent point to keep an eye out for is that this is not a bad search and destroy team. That's what you're really hoping will kind of carry them through a lot of these playoffs, especially considering that they do have two more recent additions to their roster late in the season.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, look, I look at that domination scoreline, and I think, wow, that is an incredible stat. Domination is clearly their high point here as a roster. It's kind of unfortunate, actually, I guess, in a way, isn't it, that domination is the only game mode that you only see once in a series, because that does work against LA Tech quite a bit here. But yet still, of course, you look at the hard point, you look at the search, and still, that's some pretty good, I guess, win-loss ratios at 17-5 and 14-4. Let's take a look at ULL, though, and see how they compare. And again, we have kind of similar stat lines. Again, hardpoint 15-9, search 13-6, domination 11-6. Although I will say it, Shift, for me personally, this is, I guess, a little less impressive to look at.
I mean, to a certain point, again, for ULL, you got to talk about the simple fact that it was a little bit of disappointment throughout a number of moments in the regular season. Again, a lot of losses that were very, very tight ones. Game 5 versus Alabama, a tight 3-0 versus Full Sail, a tight Game 4 versus Mississippi State, all of which were losses. But then beyond that, they also got heavily beat by UTK late on into the season. But again, we kind of talked about this team at the end of the season that maybe they wouldn't necessarily be able to show up. They would need to find a way to clutch. And well, like we mentioned, they played up against Rutgers Scarlet and they took that in an upset fashion through 4 games, all of which were relatively close, with the only exception being the search and destroy where they got blown out on St. Petra. Not a map that they're familiar with. But taking a look at what maps we have for this one, it's going to be Ramaza first. And that's going to be an interesting one simply due to the fact that Louisiana Lafayette has not notoriously been good here, while Louisiana Tech is flawless at 4-0.
Well, Ramaza is, of course, the game mode we're kicking things off on, and, well, what a great map it is. I do love a bit of Ramaza. Ramaza Hardpoint is one of my favorite map mode combinations in the game. Now, this map is, again, it's kind of like Azir Cave in a way. Now, I know people are going to be hearing that and think, oh, what on earth is he talking about? He's not a caster. But actually, I feel like this map, again, is one of those maps where it's so rotation heavy. Bridge specifically is an absolute money hill if you play it correctly. Right now, it is going to be the Raging Cajuns inside, picking up all of that time. But LA Tech, they've somehow managed to find their way in. If they win a couple more gunfights, Drops actually going to lose theirs. And as I said, well, the caster curse can continue into this map that we've seen, as the Raging Cajuns are going to hold on for this time for now. And of course, the best bit about this shit, they have the spawns for next.
And the interesting thing about this for ULL is because, like you mentioned, they spawn on the favorite side for the P2 area. They actually pull out 2 ARs off the rip here just to hold one over towards construction, one over the middle of the map, keep the long range pressure on, and force Louisiana Tech to win up close and personal gunfights. without really having a free entry to get through. Now drops, changing things up. We'll find a couple of kills to break the hill. And with that, Louisiana Tech will actually find maybe an avenue to make a way through the construction site, but just as they're about to make that execution come through, University of Louisiana Lafayette will bounce back, and the Raging Cajuns are now in a position to potentially pitch up this first attempt for LA Tech towards P2.
LA Tech now trying to make their way into the electronics shop. Of course, they currently do have control of it. The Raging Cajun's going to be batted away, and Rhett picks up a brilliant three-piece in the kill feed. Astro does respond with one, but not before Drops and Will are able to close things out for LA Tech on the back of this hard point. And you feel realistically here, Ship, there's only one more push in the Raging Cajuns before they give this one up and go towards next. It needs to work out. Rhett from behind again picks up three. Peyton is there to pick up the things here for the last 20 seconds of time. So unfortunately, Rhett's three-piece doesn't really amount to anything, but it doesn't matter because LA Tech are going to have the spawns for the barbershop for the next hill. But the Raging Cajuns are going to get that scrap time.
And turning your attention back to the minimap, right now this rotation goes from the far left to the far right. And for Louisiana Tech, the goal is take the high ground away from ULL. Force them to rotate through this middle ground, which will be contested the entire way through. So now the barbershop, as it opens up on the right-hand side, it's going to be Rhett who jumps on the hill for the initial bit of time. Ultra had a handful of options of who to shoot at. He's only able to take down Peyton for the first, and now the Raging Cajuns, very quickly, they've read this very nicely. Bandit's going to find his way in. He finds himself 2 kills. The kill feed will favor ULL as they spawn in LA Tech over towards the B bomb site for an initial bit of time. Now it's going to be all back through the backside of the barbershop. It should be an opportunity for LA Tech to come back in, but it's Astro who responds with a couple of kills, and that will be the full break for the Raging Cajuns, still with 20 seconds to fight for.
Great 20 seconds of time. The soak up here as the Raging Cajuns will, of course, gain themselves what will essentially be a full 60 seconds over LA Tech. And that's a big, big comfort cushion to work with there. You've got a nice safety net as you go into the next hard point. But it is going to be LA Tech on construction. If they can get a good hold here, Shift, they could be right back in this game with the Raging Cajuns. Of course, that's not to imply that they're out of it, but it would mean that they are, well, they're in a good position to take the lead off the back of this hill. Let's see what they can do on construction. Raging Cajuns going to start to put together a push through the bridge. Drops comes in behind, though, and causes all kinds of issues for the Raging Cajuns. Here we go. Bandit trying to find their way in now. Astro with them. And now looking for the kills, and just like that, oh my goodness. Bandit is going to pick up the kill, but it is going to be the Raging Cajuns breaking their way to the hill. Quite a good break, too.
A very good break. Again, considering the fact that they were playing for the scrap of third, to get here so quickly to P4 is incredible. And they've now forced Louisiana Tech to spawn away from the hillside it spawns. 20 seconds worth of fighting for the scrap time at P4. And Louisiana Tech, they don't have a choice. You have to forfeit these last couple of seconds. Maybe Will make one more good go of it, and he will actually come through to fight for those final 10. But it's actually going to force Louisiana Tech to start spawning towards the rug shop, which is not necessarily where you want, because, yeah, great, you got the final 10, but because you pulled the spawns closer towards the top side of the minimap, you have to essentially stretch your way back down to P5. So this will be contested off the rip. ULL doing a nice job of keeping the kill feed even, and it's going to come down to one more 1v1. Peyton takes it versus Will, and now the Raging Cajuns once again have broken an early bit of time on P5.
Great amount of time here being earned from the Raging Cajuns, and once again, I said before that they basically held the 16-point advantage for quite some time. We were about to, I guess, extend it, but LA Technic going to come in from behind and pick up a couple of kills. Astro again with a great three-piece, and Rhett responds with 2. I think really has been the saving grace at a number of moments has been Rhett in this game. LA Tech looking to break in for this last 20 seconds of time. I feel like now off the back of this, you put one more drop, I guess, of enthusiasm in. It will be drops with that, but it's not going to matter. As now we go over to the Wars rotation towards Bridge. Astro, only player who has anything to say about this for the Raging Cajuns, is causing issues up top, is dealt with from Sir Galahad, and now you have LA Tech for this rotation on Bridge. And again, I said this at the start of the first rotation shift, this hill can be a money hill. You can get a fair bit of time, and if LA Tech get this, they'll be right back into the swing of things versus the Raging Cajuns.
This is not good for Louisiana Tech at the moment as far as the score differential, but you hit it 100% correctly. If they can find full time here on this P1, they will be right back in the game. This is a map that they feel like they should win versus ULL. They've been good on here all year long, including versus playoff teams where University of Louisiana Lafayette just don't have the experience that you would normally assimilate with being successful on Ramaza, but so far, so good. They break from the rug shop. They're going to get some contest time here. Rhett's going to have to go big. He gets snapped onto. There was also a Semtex place at his feet, but it won't stop Will from finding a double. Drops, holds off the initial rotation. And now with 15 seconds left, Louisiana Tech, you have to play better here on P2 than you did the first time around. You cannot allow the Raging Cajuns to break as easily as they did the time previously, and so far, so good as the first attempt has been thwarted.
Great stuff here from LA Tech. Once again, they're on the rotation early. Can the Raging Cajuns break their way in? Will has to mount a good defense of this hard point as the smoke comes down. The first kill goes Will Way. The second just doesn't. Bandit comes sliding in. Picks up a two-piece. Is traded out. But the Raging Cajuns almost for a second there had great control of the hill. It is in fact once again Rhett who is able to protect the hard point with a great two-piece. Now the Raging Cajuns once again giving the mountain once more an offense onto the hard point. Astro and Money are there for these kills. Astro picks up one. Kills being made on the left of the hard point too, but it's down to Astro now to make his way in. And you see LA Tech doing a great job of defending. They finally bat away this UL Raging Cajun side. And Shift, would you look at this? This last 20 seconds is going to go LA Tech's way on off the back of what will be a full hardpoint hold. They're about to set the lead.
Bulldogs have woken up and they've now come back, and the bark is worth the bite apparently, as now it's a 165-163, the first lead that Louisiana Tech has had so far in this game. But they're going to have to find a way again to break over the middle of the map. Louisiana Tech, Peyton up top, Zot's on the opposite side. They are the only ones that are really looking to try to hold things off from the middle with these ARs. And it's going to be very hard to shrug them away from these positions, but they kind of lose track of what's happening at the cafe. A nice opening attempt here for Louisiana Tech. They're going to start flooding their way through this side. Drops finds himself a third kill in this life, and a 5-man wipe for Louisiana Tech. They're about to break on through. It's down to Bandit to hold off. And Bandit, he finds 4, goes absolutely massive for ULL, and he might not be done yet as he looks for the 5th, but Will responds as he finds himself a 3 kill. It's spree after spree, and Louisiana Tech will break the spawns and the hill for P3.
What have I just seen? Shift LA Tech respond to what was a brilliant 5 spree from Bandit. Raging Cajuns are not going to get the remainder of that time. LA Tech will hold a small advantage. Well, no, they won't. Never mind. They're actually going to give up that last 3 seconds of scrap time to go towards construction. But this is where it's go time for both of these teams. It is LA Tech who currently, and technically speaking, have control over the hill, but that might change straight away as Money and Zets pick up their kill. It is now going to be LA Tech once again trying to fight their way back in, trying to battle into this hill. One-on-one engagements needs to be won, and Rhett, I swear, has made so many important two-pieces across the entirety of this game, and that could be a more important one than any of the ones that he's made previously. As just like that, LA Tech, they're in the hard point. They're going to get a 5-man wipe. Raging Cage is going to have to respawn and work something together. I do feel a little bit at the moment they're kind of looking for heroic plays. You can see it right now with number 6 Money inside the hard point. LA Tech going to deal with that rather easily, and yet still here for the last 17 seconds of time. This is actually still quite a lot of time to go for it. If you're the Raging Cajuns, you can't even really give this up and go straight for rotation. You need to win that time.
Oh boy. And again, not only did they not really make a decision of how are we going to hit this P4, but they have not ever put anybody in the middle of the map again. No one rugged, no one cafe, and because of that, Louisiana Tech has actually found themselves spawns behind P3. This is going to be massive. They could break this very early. They're already found a way to contest. It's just going to come down to, can you win the second set of gunfights? Sir Galahad will say, surely we will, as he finds himself a double. 237, 202. The current temperature in Lafayette, Louisiana is 81 degrees, which means, is there enough temperature for ice to stand? ULL, you have to K in this one, and I don't think it's going to happen. The ice is not there. It's melting off the board. It has to come down to Astro. He needs to find a handful, and he surely will not, as the numbers are too good for Louisiana Tech. 248 potentially coming through. One more potential hit to contest, but again, ULL cannot win here. And look at number 1. Drops already making the rotation just to secure the game on the first hill.
Oh no, it doesn't even matter. It doesn't. Oh, for a second there, I thought UL Raging Cajuns were actually going to give up all that time, and I think they do to LA Tech. Oh my goodness, the fight's going down in the last hard point. It doesn't matter anyway. We are going to see a bridge. Drops wins the first fight, and LA Tech are going to be able to finish it out off the back of Bridge. But that was just such a tense game there from those two sides. The UL Raging Cajuns, I do feel kind of slipped up in a way. They started so strong, but this moment here actually is where I kind of feel like it really turned around. Bandit gets a 5K to react to what was, I think, was a full break from LA Tech, and then Will responds with 3. And I think that kind of breaking down that LA were able to do in the entirety of the game was just so important. Again, you look at the stats at the end of the game too, and what a surprise. Rhett and drops on top of the kill feed. I actually kind of felt that Rhett did a lot more there in terms of just getting some crucial 2 pieces here and there that really made a difference in the grand scheme of things.
This is where we've looked at this University of Louisiana Lafayette team and said, can they clutch up in big moments? The answer again comes down to no, they cannot. There was again a big moment in there where, again, from P3 to P4, like you mentioned, at the post hand of that 4 spree that came through. But simply put, they got so focused on hitting P3 for that scrap time that they lose track of the rotation to P4. Louisiana Tech able to get there, and with that, they're not able to fully decide. Are we going to try to find a way to break the spawns? Are we going to set up for the rotation to 5? They lose track again of the rotation. Louisiana Tech slip around, and with that, they just take advantage of the rotations from 3 to 4 to 5. That's the game, and man, for Louisiana Lafayette, you've got to find a way to just be more calm and controlled when things get tense like that. This is not a matchup that you look at saying that this is not going to be the hardest thing that you have going forward for you. If you win this game versus Louisiana Lafayette, or pardon me, you lose this game versus Louisiana Tech, your next opponent is Georgia Southern or Carleton. They're going to be just that much more cleaner than you would feel like a Louisiana Tech team would be in those key moments. So decision making still an issue for Louisiana Lafayette.
Yeah, absolutely. I absolutely agree with you, Shift, there. Again, I feel like in some moments in that game, maybe Louisiana Lafayette just slip up. I do somewhat think, maybe we should give a little bit more credit to LA Tech in terms of actually being able to clutch up, in terms of holding down the electronic shop, what was for P2, and then following up with a great push towards the barbershop. That kind of, it's rotation 2, I suppose you'd call it, push from them. I think that really did change the game. Versus the UL Raging Cajuns. That being said, of course, that's map number 1. And again, if you're the Raging Cajuns, you need to stick that to the back of your mind because now we move into a more integral game mode. Gun Runner, Search and Destroy. LA Tech are 5-0 on this game across the season. They haven't lost a single map here on Gun Runner S&D. I don't know how the Raging Cajuns let this slip through the veto process, but they did. And now we're at a point where Raging Cajuns are 1-0 down. They're playing LA Tech on their best Search and Destroy map.
You've got to take this win here. If you're University of Louisiana Lafayette, you cannot see this go to a domination where, again, LA Tech has been good in domination all year long. So let's see how this one occurs. And like you mentioned, it's going to be Gun Runner. ULL, the Raging Cajuns, will be on the offense first. LA Tech will be trying to set themselves up defensively with mostly a 4-man stack here towards B. Raging Cajuns taking their time, trying to find some information across the middle of the map. No one really pushing forward yet, as Asher will carry the bomb, and now he's going to make his way forward, and he's actually just slipped right over, and while Zotz finds 2 kills, that'll be enough for an opening, and the bomb will be planted with a 5-on-3 favorite for Raging Cajuns.
Raging Cajuns right now, they do have the numbers game, of course, but LA Tech going to jump around the defuse. No way, is Sir Halad just jumped on this defuse? They have it. Oh my goodness, milliseconds away from getting the defuse. They get the defuse. I didn't even realize LA Tech, they got the defuse. What was that? How does he walk away with that defuse? My head is in my hands. You guys can't see the caster test right now. Shifters may as well not be on the camera. Alan, what the hell just happened?
I have lost full. It's a 3v5. There's no way that you miss track of a player just sneaking onto the bomb site. You can't lose track of them. Wait. So here we go.
Yeah.
Let's see exactly how things occur from here. As it's going to be a full A hit. Will finds first blood over the middle. There's a big opening, a big avenue here for them to make their way through the coal-sided stairs. And here comes Rhett with the bomb and trying to make their way through. Zotz will deal with 1. He's going to kick up the angle. He should find a second. He will, and that's the bomb down. So now things looking a little bit dire for Louisiana Tech as they didn't really find the kind of dissuasion of that rotation from the backside of Cargo. No smokes really coming through. Obviously, no set nades to try to stop that push through. And again, ULL in a round where you feel like they should surely win in a 3v2.
Well, they should do, but Drops is now going to put this down to a 2 versus 2. Of course, the thing here for LA Tech is that bomb still has to be retrieved, of course, as Bandit I think they do know about it, just pre-aiming around that corner. No, actually, I don't think they do. Bandit instead is just keeping an eye. Oh my goodness, Bandit is about to get so bad timing. How do you get timing that bad? Bandit just turns the corner just as Will slips around. And now a 3 versus 2 turns into a 1 versus 2 for money. Gonna have to find themselves in the bank very soon against Drops and Will, of course. And I think the worst bit about this is for money is that they still think this is an A push. They still kind of, they're going for the 50-50 and they're choosing A. It's not the right bomb site though, as Will going to get this bomb down. And now we'll have 45 seconds to defend it. What can money do in the 1 versus 2?
Goodness gracious. You can't let a second round slip under your fingers like this if you're ULL. But it looks like that very well could be the case. No dead silence for money. He's got smoke. Could stop one line of sight from being there. Maybe to try to find a 1v1. He's going to try to take the shots at long range. He'll sit there and be happy to take a couple of body shots just to make sure the time is ticking off the clock. Money has to make the play. Doesn't check his immediate right. And Louisiana Tech steal another round away from ULL as they go up 2-0.
That's not a round you should win. I will say, there's an asterisk on that one for me just because of how unlucky Bandit kind of got. But then again, this is kind of why you need to check your bodies. I know it's very hard to do, but if you could know that bomb was down in that scenario, I mean, you play that situation very, very differently, right? I mean, you just essentially crowd on their bomb. You put all 3 of your players there, but instead, Drops and Will are able to win a 2 versus 3 scenario. And as you say, LA Tech steal a second round that they shouldn't have gotten. Let me tell you guys, there's definitely one of the rounds that they definitely should not have got, but still, moving into round number 3, of course, the Raging Cages once again switching sides as they now go towards B with this bomb in hand. A little bit reserved with the push, but a lovely set nade from Pateson is going to take down Will. And now the Raging Cajuns here with a man advantage. How do they handle this? Moving towards the bomb site.
Another first blood. 2 out of the 3 so far favoring ULL. And once again, Astro's going to try to make his way forward. They're going to know the bomb's down here. Another big opportunity for Louisiana Tech to fight back at this round, not having numbers. But as they try to converge in the middle of the map, Bandit will take care of another, and now Money finds the last. So it's just down to Drops in a 1v4. Has information on a player at U, would have had to win that gunfight and find some way to slip out. And with that, ULL will finally take a round that they should have had. And again, you should be looking at, I would think, a 3-0 score for the Raging Cajuns. It's only a mere 1-2. So a lot of battling still has to happen here for ULL if they want to try to find a way to retake this lead.
And again, that's kind of a situation where they almost handed it to LA Tech by running towards the bomb site without a player even being covered. That's problematic to me. I still feel like even though you come out with a round win, something isn't really clicking right now for the Raging Cajuns in these first 3 search and destroy rounds. Of course, though, I think it's important to note that we kind of said that about our very last series, right, Shift? And we saw what happened there between ROT and UTK, but still, Zots is going to draw first blood here once again against Will, and this defense looking very, very strong. LA Tech is pushed right back. Drops, though, is going to trade out, and there is still a chance here for LA Tech, but once again, they've been pushed right onto their back foot. They have no control over the B site. They might want to consider rotating.
See how things kind of occur here. Louisiana Tech, again, they've been facing up against a numbers disadvantage every single round so far. This one in particular, a 3v4. Again, still very doable. Just comes down to where the next kill comes from. It'll happen from Peyton as he takes down Rhett. That's the bomb carrier down. Drops, trying to make a play with a dead silence. He'll find 1. He'll find 2. Opportunity for a 3rd. Goes for the drop peek. Drops for 3. And once again, Louisiana Tech fight back against numbers. Now all of a sudden they've recollected the bomb and Astro's in a 1v2.
You cannot let Drops get that 3-piece, man. That is really bad. And now Astro for the 1 versus 2 could still salvage this round. Has spotted out whole Troll, but the problem is, of course, the Troll has seen them. Astro's going to throw out some utility. A smoke to actually cross the mid-map. I do like this play from Astro. Stun throw now isn't going to connect. Astro sees the 1, but Drop's going to get the drop. And at least a 4K in the round. I'm unsure if it was an ace, but still. What a performance from Drops, the player that, I mean, if we had player of the rounds here in Search and Destroy instead of final kills, it would be without a shadow of doubt that 3-piece. That turns the tide in the entirety of the round. And once again, as I feel it's kind of been for every single Search and Destroy round here, LA Tech, they come back from the brink.
And again, I hate to say it, but this is what we talked about in that prediction stream. ULL has not been able to take advantage of situations where they just need to either A, win S&D rounds, or B, just win maps. This is, again, why things, again, were kind of the bane of their boon, I would say, all the way through the regular season. In those games that were so close that they had game 5s, game 4s, or tight 3-0s that very well could have gone the other way, and it just turns up against their favor. So now Louisiana Tech drops, looking to get feisty in the vents. How do you win that gunfight? Bandit had one job to do, and he still drops it away. Hole Troll finds a second kill, and now a third coming into play. Louisiana Tech, this is their first significant round with numbers, and it's coming up very nicely for them in a 5v2.
LA Tech are looking very good here. Very crispy. A lovely nade from Will. He's going to take out money, and it's just down a Payton and a 1 versus 5 here. Just going to nade themselves. That's technically illegal. We don't allow that here, but it's not going to matter as LA Tech are going to win the round. I feel like you're in a 1 versus 5. I don't really know if you even bother, to be honest, if you're Payton. Just doesn't even matter. He actually gets the father kill off the back of it. But still, that is rough. That is a perfect round there for LA Tech, and I think really kind of shows just how well they're playing this Search and Destroy right now. But this isn't over. You know, at the end of the day, it's still a best of 11. We can still have a better half coming out of ULL. Although we're going to be seeing how they do as LA Tech once again on the offense. This is technically speaking the preferred side on this map.
I'm just sitting here shaking my head right now, Brody. I mean, it's just, there are so many moments that it's just like, okay, Raging Cajuns, we've underestimated you. You're looking solid, and then things go wrong. Nice play from Drops. Nice little turn on there to Bandit before he can be doubled up. One more down low. Drops, are you kidding me? He is 10 and 2, doing it all essentially by himself. Not even going to wait for the regen. Goes for another challenge on the money. Sir Galahad will essentially give Drops the assist as he finishes off the work. Not done yet, though. Zots in a 1v3 will take care of 2, but not the third. Louisiana Tech up 5-1, looking to put this to a 2-0 series set here. They can find the 6th round.
I'll tell you one thing for sure, right? Shift drops right now. This guy is just on a tear. There's just no way around it, right? I mean, what? I don't even know how many kills he ended up getting in that round, but still, that opening 2-piece really turned the tide once again for LA Techs and the Raging Cajuns here. I just don't know what you can do. You need to shut down Drops in the early round. Maybe that's the key, because you're losing all of those gunfights. You actually got 3 in that last round, but you're losing all of the gunfights, and you're what? You're essentially playing in a 5 versus 1 here because nobody else in LA Tech is really doing that much besides Will. And it just feels this is not very nice for the Raging Cajuns. And once again, well, guess who just won the first 2 kills of the round? Shift. It's Will, and it's Drops.
Yep. Even if you weren't watching, I'm sure you could make that prediction as Drops is not going to slow down here. He finds the second one in the round 13 and 2. Victory lap potentially here for Drops to maybe find the last. It's money. Mid-map in a really tough spot, sitting right between the shower area and the water ramp. Everyone's going to know that he's in this position. He's already popped his dead silence, and it's about to expire. It's going to make this round extra difficult for him. 45 seconds to play. Drops has seen him. Semtex, hold this, please. Will be a little bit short. And with that, the kill will come from behind. Louisiana Tech, quick, convincing, and, well, not really as convincing as you would have liked for ULL. That should have been a 3-0 start for them, but they drop a handful of rounds, and from there on out, Louisiana Tech just never left off the gas pedal. 6-1 the score.
I feel like I now have somewhat more of an idea as to why LA Tech were 5-0 in this game mode.
Yep.
I just, they say in this game mode, in this map mode combination. They just played that so incredibly well. And I say it wasn't right. I'm not going to call out Galahad, Hole Troll, and Rep because there's only so many kills you can make on the map. But when Drops and Will are cleaning them all up like a Dyson Hoover, there's only so much you can realistically speaking do. It is incredible to me that they just played off the back of saying, look, Drops, Will, just go get your kills. We'll allow you to, go get every single kill as long as you can win the game for us. And that's exactly what happened. It's incredible to me that, what was it, like 3 or 4 rounds in, ULL just kept on allowing it to happen. I think, you need to play a little bit more reserved. I think that's just the way it is for me. I feel like a lot of the time there, Drops and Will were just able to get in positions where ULL just shouldn't have allowed it to happen. It's straight up as that.
2v5s are fun, I guess, if you're Drops or Will. I mean, like you said, there's just not enough kills to go around for everybody. Yeah. Tough seeds. And again, for ULL, the Search and Destroy has not been their strong suit throughout the year, particularly. Again, you look back to even in their upset versus Rutgers Scarlet, they couldn't even find a round on the Search and Destroy on St. Petro there. So that now brings them to an 8-8 overall Search and Destroy total on the year. In the playoffs, now they're 3-7 in specific role versus playoff teams, not just in these playoffs, but oh boy, that's not at all what you want to see. And now, like you mentioned, you're going into a map 3, Gunrunner domination. Sure, Louisiana Lafayette 3-3 on the map, but LA Tech 6-1.
I can't.
Tough scenes.
I can't, man. Overall, what LA Tech 12-1 in the season, domination, like
Yeah.
that to me is just insane, right? What? How do you even like go around that? I mean, you're. This is kind of what we were saying coming into the series. We didn't actually do that much, I guess, pre-game analysis, as it were. But it really does sort of, I guess, hit home how important that map one victory actually was,
Oh, yeah.
because the map set, like, I'm not going to say it right. I feel like this is kind of one of the situations where you needed to have played the vetoes better than you have done, right? I mean, this is a prime example of when you play the vetoes badly, this is what happens. You allow Gunrunner, Search and Destroy into the map set. You haven't done your research clearly, which I guess, it is kind of hard for teams to do it at this level. But there is a wealth of information available to you, right? I mean, if you really want to put the effort in, you could probably get those stats and find out exactly who is where in terms of what maps and modes.
The other side of things, you have to win that map one. You're 100% right. The other side of things is, this is kind of a storyline that we were building on during our prediction and our reveal stream that we did earlier before the playoffs. There are a lot of teams that are out there that have just been sticking to hard vetoing one map. Their map pool isn't diverse enough for them to be prepared on every single map. And for Louisiana Lafayette, their hard veto and domination has been Hackney Yard. The only time they played it was versus Florida State, and that was in week number 1 or 2. So that's what I imagine happened in the veto system here. And with that, LA Tech had the choice. Where do we want to go? We'll go to one of our better dominations into the Gunrunner. I mean, they had a chance. I mean, Hackney Yard, they're 5-0. That gets taken away. Let's just go to Gunrunner. Fine, why not? We are waiting for the host and stuff to swap up. Again, this is just one of 2 streams we have currently going on. On our Bravo stream, you can catch the action between Penn State Blue and Mississippi State. That's a losers round 1 matchup that's currently in the Search and Destroy. Mississippi State were able to take the hard point in the first game at a score of 250-159, and now they're currently up what's going to be 4-1 in the Search. So they're having no problems with Penn State Blue on the bottom side of the bracket. Nothing else currently really going on with the exception of Humber playing up against LVC. And the first game was a 250-125 in favor of Humber. They're also jumping into their Search and Destroy. And I think there's a couple of player POVs if you want to catch that Humber esports squad. But for now, we'll step away for a small break. We'll come back with map number 3, Gunrunner Domination, right after this.
push forward, push forward, push forward.
We're back, ready to go. Battle for Louisiana, as it were. Louisiana Tech currently, well, dominating that one as they're up 2-0 in the map count. ULL not able to close out the first map, not able to take advantage of numbers in the search and destroy. We'll go back to Gunrunner, where we've already talked about how Louisiana Tech has been a force to be reckoned with here throughout the regular season. And, well, the kill feed, not a single kill yet for ULL, who will actually make one player slip through over to C to get at least a neutralization. But you got to find some kills. You got to find a kill. Not a single kill yet for ULL. There we go, man. And we'll find the first kill for the Raging Cajuns. But, oh, my goodness, Louisiana Tech is putting on the pain early.
And guess who started off strong? Once again, drops 5-1. What a player, man. I mean, he impressed me in domination. Maybe didn't have that great of a game one, but still, drops coming out swinging here. 5-1 start, essentially single-handedly responsible for ULL being removed from the map in that opening segment. But right at the start here, LA Tech, they actually don't do all that well off the back of it. Saying that, they have control of E and A, and now we're going to get to see one of these players, what you see on Gunrunner domination quite a lot, doing this over towards C, just continually getting this neutralization and then walking away. As a matter of fact, they're now going to go for a capture and walk away, and that's going to cause some serious problems for UL.
And again, this is a great play from Drop. He's going to read the room a little bit here, saying, hey, we don't have the B flag yet. I can't necessarily sit here for a full capture and full domination. I got to just essentially play my life, make sure nobody cuts the middle of the map, and he actually does stop the re-neutralization of C. So now the Raging Cajuns, again, have to rotate back over to the C flag. It's going to give some space here for Will to make a pinch happen, and with that, the B flag will be flipped. Beautiful understanding here for Louisiana Tech of what is our situation, what do we have to do, and where do we need to be moving to make sure we're holding on to two flags. Beautifully done for Louisiana Tech, as they have now a pretty solid AB hold.
LA Tech right now inside A, inside B. Let's see if ULL can do anything about it, as Peyton picks up 2 with that M4A1, where it responds with 2 of its own. But Zop's right back at you, and right now this fight for B still going down, but it finishes up with LA Tech on top as Rhett picks up yet another kill off the back of what was already a 2-piece, and now on a 3 streak. Now we get to see, once again, oh my word, Drops is just continually causing issues over towards C. You're going to see them neutralize that flag, wins a fight, but they actually shouldn't win. Wins a, oh no, oh my god, I thought over a second there that Drops was going to win the second. Doesn't happen as the UL Raging Cajuns finally get control of their own home flag, but still, LA Tech are applying the pressure in all the right areas right now, and the UL are most certainly feeling it.
And it's just one of those things that Louisiana Tech's understanding of this map is so fundamentally sound that there's never an opportunity for the Raging Cajuns to really make a play. You're essentially starting to see now finally a couple of kills come through, and with that, Peyton's going to make a rotation through the wood side as the Raging Cajuns are saying, we've had enough of trying to get into this B boiler room. Let's try to make a play through the wood side. But this is a long play. It's going to take a long time for this to develop. Drops will slow things down as he finds another double kill. And there will be a couple of members of the Bulldogs of Louisiana Tech not just making their way to make sure that the A flag is held, but while that's all occurring, they move over from B to C. They say thanks for the free flag. And now a big play from Will as he continues to hold on. A significant time of triple capture coming into play for Louisiana Tech.
Louisiana Tech now onside that B flag. They've got control of C. The UL Raging Cajuns right now in control of this A flag. But again, oh my word. Oh my word. Again, just a wave of kills going LA Tech's way. And the UL Raging Cajuns just cannot get something working in their favor. It's kind of unfortunate in a way. I believe Zots may have just got a weird spawn over towards C. I'm not entirely sure if they were just camping there, but that was very, very odd. It might work out something good. At the very least, it does turn the attention of LA Tech away from the B flag for a moment. It gives you all control of this AB setup.
And now it's down to ULL. Can you find a way to potentially turn this back half around? You need to essentially hold at least these two flags. I mean, a 44-point differential is not great coming out of the half. And a map where, again, yeah, you could argue that the A side might be more favored, but I think that this map stays more neutral than any other one. And with this, you can see LA Tech is trying to find a way to neutralize one more flag. They nearly did it onto A. Rhett will come forward and try to deal with this one more time, and that surely should be a neutralization of A. a solid back half here, or really full first half for LA Tech. They'll be up right around 40 points. ULL did what they could to stay in it, but that was as convincing as we've seen on a Gunrunner first half.
Well, LA Tech doing very, very well on Gunrunner hardpoint. I mean, I guess it is a very by-the-books domination. Sorry, I called it hardpoint there. It is a very by-the-books domination to play. My mind is absolutely frazzled. I have no excuse for it either. But yeah, I guess it is a very sort of by-the-books domination to play. But at the same time, LA Tech make little to no mistakes there in that first half of domination against ULL. And, well, now we're going to have to see a great half from ULL right off the rip. What they don't want to let happen is what happened at the very start of the first half, where Drops were able to get what was essentially a 5 streak, wiping ULL away from the map before falling. Let's see how much of a better half they have here right off the rip, as we are going to be switching sides. Will ULL spawning on C. This is kind of problematic in a way, because I know that you're going to disagree with me on this shift, but I actually feel like the A side is a much, much better half to have, because you can essentially just come through and consistently neutralize that C flag, as Drops was doing in the last half.
It's definitely, you can disguise that play much better, but it's just like trying to win out the B side of the map. You have to push very far past that 50-yard line to really zone out that B flag. Again, not an issue when you're Louisiana Tech and you've got a player who's already almost at 20 kills through essentially what is the first half of this game. Drops now 20-9, and life becomes much easier. And there are ways, I think, that for ULL, or whoever you are, you can stop that push through from the C. If you just hold somebody in the bathroom or on the outside part of the cargo containers, you can at least read the room a little bit better. But again, Drops is just not going to fall. He's on 4 straight to open up the half. More kills in quick succession coming through, and Louisiana Tech once again in full domination mode.
Well, they are going to flip the spawns there. Modern Warfare once again playing up for us here on the casting desk, as LA Tech are going to do what I think it's Drops actually may have just pushed a little bit too far into the ULL spawns, but we haven't seen anything like that before. Regardless, they are going to see a flip of the spawns. ULL now have control of A, and they also held control of C momentarily before Drops is able to take it down, though. And LA Tech now with a huge advantage. And mathematically speaking, I mean, as we get further and further through the second half, this becomes more and more improbable that the ULL are actually going to be able to carry on. And oh my word, Rhett is on a 6 spree right now. LA Tech are dominating the map. And if I didn't have, I guess, a better sense of me that domination maps can turn on the flip of a coin, I would have already called this one by now. LA Tech are just dominating ULL.
It's almost the 60-point game. And again, mathematically, with 3 minutes to play, you have to find a full capture for a significant amount of time. You feel like there's no way that LA Tech is just going to give up, not just having 2 flags. I mean, you're going to have to find a way to put the pressure on if you're the Raging Cajuns. And, well, A, you need to find some kills, just period. You just need to find some kills, period. Another near full wipe comes into play, and if you out there had concerns about Louisiana Tech not having Torres, not having Bacon, these last 2 guys coming into the mix of Sir Galahad and Rhett, would they be able to hold their own? Well, I think we've gotten our answer. There are 3 members of LA Tech over 20 kills, and Holtroll is not too far behind.
I was about to point it out, Shift. I mean, you look at the stats across the board here from LA Tech, and everyone is pulling in a Shift. I think, you know, so again, you kind of asked the question as to why Galahad isn't having the same performance. Well, I mean, there's only so many kills on the map at the end of the day, right? I mean, this is so rough. UL here, I think, already out of this game, mathematically speaking, as we hit this 2-minute mark. And, well, this is just the beauty of domination, because now we have a full 2 minutes where ULL are already done here. And I guess we can just talk about how good of a performance this is from LA Tech. Mathematically speaking, they've eliminated ULL. They'll be going through to winners round 3, where, of course, they will be facing either Georgia Southern or Carleton. But still, what a performance from LA Tech. You have to be very, very happy if you're this team. And again, I think you kind of touched upon those roster changes that this team made. I'm not concerned. I'm not concerned at all. Rhett is proven for me at the very least just how good of a player he is in this series.
I mean, I would be concerned if you were Georgia Southern or Carleton looking at this LA Tech team. Whoever comes out of that matchup, we're going to get the opportunity to catch that one, not this weekend, but next. And this Louisiana Tech team is terrifying, not just because they're absolutely smoking ULL here in the domination, a mode of which they have done very well on throughout their entire regular season, but the fact that they were able to put together that comeback on the Ramaza hard point and still fight up against numbers on the search and destroy when they were down significantly. It wasn't just like 3v4s. There were 2v4s. There were 2v5s, but they still came out on top. And now players start to leave the game as ULL will see this obviously not go anywhere in their favor. Got to give respect to J Money for giving it his all, but he nearly just got assassinated at the end, and these last 30 seconds will come to a conclusion of about a 100-point differential as Louisiana Tech put an absolutely emphatic exclamation point on the back end of this 3-0.
And again, Shift, I've got to say it. I mean, you can start to see now why, just like when we were talking about that very specific search and destroy setup that we just had in map number 2, you can absolutely see why now why LA Tech are so far ahead in domination of many teams here. You know, the fact of the matter is they are 12-1 now, 13-1 actually now overall in terms of their map count across the entirety of the season, playoffs included. LA Tech are monsters on domination, and it shows here. 210-94. All right, yeah, albeit for 2 minutes of the game there, ULL were 3 versus 5, but I think that was already the point at which the game was done and dusted. LA Tech, man, they have impressed me in this series. I have loved everything I've seen from this roster. I will call out especially Drops. Drops to me is the most talented player here on this lineup, and I can't wait to see these guys play again.
I can't believe we have to wait another week to see these guys play again. I kind of wish we could see that Georgia Southern Carleton LA Tech game today. I mean, these guys are absolutely frying right now. 34 kills for Drops, 4 members over 20 kills in whole for LA Tech, and the Bulldogs, they bark back on the Ramaza hardpoint. They battle up against the early rounds of the Gunrunner Search and Destroy, where they were down on numbers to find themselves an eventual 6-1. And then I haven't seen a 210-94 scoreline since we moved from 6 minutes to 5 minutes on domination, and that was a while ago. So Louisiana Tech, no problems here really whatsoever. And what does that do to Louisiana Lafayette? They go down to the losers bracket, of which they'll play an Oklahoma State team that they, let's be candid, they really should not have an issue with them. But that's going to have to be the hard regain button for ULL, because after you lose the ice in the first round, you lose numbers in the second map, and then you get smoked like that in the third. You need a confidence booster again, and you might find that versus Oklahoma State.
I'll be honest in saying I think the map set, the series just doesn't work out in the end. Like, I think a number of things just worked against them. Yeah, at the end of the day, right? I mean, you talk on a wider level for context for you guys at home. Domination before coming in this series, LA Tech were at 12-1, right? It was very, very unlikely that ULL were going to win this, statistically speaking. And so it kind of places more emphasis on the Gunrunner and the Raza. And as we were talking about very briefly before we came into the break, you need to veto better than allowing Gunrunner Search and Destroy into the map set. You can't allow that, because immediately, as soon as that happens, with a team that will, I think they were like 5-0, 6-0 on Gunrunner before going into that map, you're looking at essentially losing 2 maps by default, short of pulling off something special. And then that places more emphasis onto the hard point, at which you just didn't win. And from that point onwards, it is a major, major uphill battle for the ULL. I suppose on a wider note, though, that is a partial good thing. Like, yeah, all right, you lost the series 3-0, but you can kind of put an asterisk on it yourself. Like, we kind of played bad, in terms of the vetoes, and we were unlikely to win the domination. So that's just kind of the way the cookie crumbles. But they're going to have to hit the hard regain, as you say, Shift, coming into that losers bracket. And it is a long losers bracket run, too, for any team that is inspiring to become your College Coach 2020 champs.
100% the case. And while we've got a moment here, we do have another clip that we could potentially break down as we're ready to go, essentially, with this, as we cut forward, as we've got a pretty substantial break coming into the mix. And this is just one of those moments that we take a look at here. And it was one of those things of, I'm hitting the wrong things right now. One of those moments where, for the side of ULL, things were going wrong early, but this moment that's coming out, this is one of those things. Just take a read of what's going on in the mini map. We'll do ULL in the pinkish color, and we'll do LA Tech in the red. For ULL, or pardon me, in the blue, this is where you're holding right now. The C flag. You just lost everything here at B. You're going to spawn up, and this is where they make that committal call to say, we're going to make a play for A. The problem in this is the simple fact that as LA Tech read this, they very wisely tactically retreat back to hold A, while also pushing through both sides of the map to A, cut off this area, the middle of the map, and B, find this moment of triple capture. So as we zoom out and take a look at this one more time, read this for LA Tech. They're going to see that Peyton's making his spree across. Whole Troll's going to read this play, and as soon as he calls this is where everyone starts to make a call across the middle of the map. This timing is impeccable. Not only do you have a player who's rotating back to guard A, but look at all the members and the B flag. Once they read that one of their members have spawned behind C, they're going to immediately cut right through. And as soon as they get this area of the map contested, that leads to a free capture of C and a defensive hold point. This is when you can turn that little bit of map pressure into a full capture. So as you see this one unfold one more time, here's the cut through the middle of the map. You've got pressure on C, and because Drops has made his way back and he finds himself 2 kills, the spawns will once again come through here for the side of LA Tech in the back. You just have to hold your life for as long as possible, and this is where Will finds a handful of kills to make sure that essentially he's able to hold on and make sure that the flag never gets flipped completely. That was that moment of triple capture. It happened not just once, but it happened a couple of times. And those are moments that for ULL, you just have to read those better. You can't fully flip through the wood side. You have to put pressure in the middle of the map. And when you miss those moments, that's what LA Tech's going to take care of you and put you back in the corner once again.
Yep. And again, LA Tech just showing why they're such a good domination roster. Now 13-1 overall here on domination. Who can take out LA Tech? That is the question on domination. They've been looking pretty good overall as a roster so far. Have failed yet to drop a map in playoffs. Of course, though, as we talked up, we've talked up the match a little bit. Whoever wins out of Georgia Southern and Carleton, they are going to be facing LA Tech in winners round 3 in May 15th. Right, that's when we're going to start up for playoffs again. So that's going to be a huge match, whoever comes out on top of that one. But I'm excited. I have loved what I've seen from LA Tech this weekend. It's my first time looking at this team. And I'm pretty hyped. So I'm a Drops fan. I'll say that. I'm absolutely a Drops fan off the back of the series. Ret has impressed me as well. But as then, I think overall right now, if I'm LA Tech, I'm extremely happy coming off the back of that 3-0. They played their veto process really well. They played every single map individually well. And once again, proving to be great on domination.
Let's take a look, if we can, potentially at what's going on in the bracket. As again, we're going to have some time here before we jump into our next matchup. Here's the top half of your bracket. Just as a reminder, nothing has started yet here in winners round 2, with the exception of Texas A&M Maroon, who actually got a forfeit win versus Grand Canyon. Grand Canyon apparently just didn't want to lose the morale of playing up against Texas A&M Maroon, so they decided to just go for the forfeit and just immediately put themselves in the losers bracket. It's a bold strategy, Con. See how it pays out for them. Purdue and Grossmont slated to start at 5:30, but then we jump down to the losers bracket, or part of the bottom side of the half of this winners bracket. And this is where things have kind of kicked off. Again, Louisiana Tech do get a 3-0 versus Louisiana Lafayette. But interestingly enough, Lebanon Valley able to take a search and destroy versus Humber, a 6-5 round 11 win for them in map number 2. They're currently in the middle of the domination. Georgia Southern and Carleton slated to schedule later tonight, as both teams have members that are playing in the challenger scene. And then we take a look at how our losers bracket starting to unfold. Again, Mississippi State and Penn State Blue, currently highlighted in blue, is going on our Bravo channel. Mississippi State not having a problem yet with Penn State Blue, but the rest of those games slated to start here in the near future as we start to kind of not just flesh out the losers round 1, but also figure out who will be playing who in losers round 2. Our coverage slated to start next will actually be UTA versus Northern Iowa, started at 4, but if possible, we'll see if we could jump into that Humber and Lebanon Valley game just to see the conclusion of that one potentially in map 4, or if it goes to a map 5, we'll follow along hopefully with that. So hopefully we'll have that coverage here very shortly for you guys. Don't go too far. More College COD playoffs happening